Welcome to Streams of Income, hosted by best-selling author and entrepreneur Dr. David Powers, where we discuss streams of income, passive income, residual income, and even why there are dinosaurs and zombies in this intro. Fasten your seatbelts and get ready to dive in.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to this next episode of the Streams of Income podcast. I'm going to talk about something today that is near and dear to my heart. It's going to be one of the segments in the Make Money Off Your Own Land hobby farm, start a farm in your backyard. I'm not even sure what it's going to be titled yet, but this is going to be one of the segments in this. So if this interests you, if this is something you've thought about, whether it's homesteading, growing things in your own backyard and trying to sell them, maybe buying a big old piece of land and trying to figure out how to make money off of it, I want you to tune into this series because I'm going to cover a bunch of different aspects. And the thing is, I brought up this question in my Facebook. I just mentioned flat out to some of the people that follow me, and I said, hey, I'm proposing a series on making money on your own land. What do y'all think about this? And I got tons of people that were interested. I've got a good friend that is in the succulents market. She has an amazing business doing all kinds of different things with succulents. I've got some friends doing microgreens. I've got friends in Canada that were wondering about this and maybe even about some of the laws in Canada. And so this is going to be fun because, like I said, this is near and dear to my heart because I'm trying to do the same thing myself. I own 5 acres where I'm at, and it's actually good variety here too. I mean, if you notice me looking away from the camera, my office is in a walkout basement, and I'm actually looking out the windows. I can see part of our raised garden beds. I can see some of the walnut trees. I can see some of the forested property at the back where we're thinking about doing some shade-grown crops. And so, like I said, it's near and dear to my heart because I want to work harder on not just food security for my own family, growing more of the food that we eat here on our property so that we can control it. We don't have to worry about supply chain disruptions. We don't have to worry about storms. We don't have to worry about anything but what we put in the ground, but also learning how I can make money off of that. And one of the things I'm also even more interested in than making money off my crop is agritourism. Agritourism is in many ways so much easier to do, but I want to learn how to take this farm that I'm on, that I own, and using what I grow here and using that to, I don't know, for people to come here and stay, for people to experience the farm life, for people to come and see a working farm, for people to come and take classes on different things regarding to homesteading or prepping or anything like that. And so that's kind of a very, very long intro for what I'm going to talk about today, which is the business of beekeeping. And all of this I'm drawing from an article that was in, what's the official name of this magazine? Homestead Living. I have a subscription to Homestead Living magazine. And it's an amazing, amazing magazine. I highly recommend it if you're interested in any way, in homesteading, in hobby farming, in small craft farming, doing specialty crops, anything like that is pretty amazing. Matter of fact, lunchtime today, I was sitting upstairs reading some more articles about the people that were in that documentary, The Big Little Farm. I think that's the name of it. And I'll put links in the show notes. Matter of fact, I'm going to take some notes here about all the things I need to give you links for because sometimes I forget. And so Big Little Farm documentary. It's pretty amazing. And the folks that started that thing and filmed the documentary, pretty amazing as well. But today we're talking the business of bees. Now, here's the weird thing about beekeeping, and might make you wonder why I'm talking about it, is I don't want to be a beekeeper. I really don't. I'll be perfectly honest with you. And that's the thing about having a small hobby farm, something like that, is if you try to do everything that seems cool, everything that seems like it's somehow necessary to be part of a holistic, full-scale farm, it's going to wear you out. And you don't have time to do everything. Joel Salatin might be able to. and seems to do everything, but he has also spent a lifetime learning and doing those things in small increments until he became an expert at all those things. Not to mention the fact, he's probably got more people working for him now than he did when he got started. So don't think you're going to start out and do everything. So like I said, I don't want to be a beekeeper, but I want bees. And that may sound weird. And so one of the goals I have for this farm is to make it available to other beekeepers to have their hives, to have extra hives, additional hives on my farm. Because there's this thing, the bees will help my farm. And I'm planning on planting all kinds of pollinator gardens and pollinator areas on my farm because it all makes the farm healthier. But I don't want to have to buy the suit. I don't want to manage the bees. I don't want to learn about all the diseases and the mites and temperatures and all the things that are necessary. And so I want to make parts of my farm available to beekeepers. And I don't know what that even looks like right now. Maybe I just get a share of the honey, the finished product, that kind of thing. Who knows? I may get so into it by watching them and working with them and talking to them that I do eventually want to have bees. I don't know. But there was this article in the Homestead Living magazine about the business of bees. And the subtitle even, How to Build a Profitable Beekeeping Operation. And so as far as this goes, streams of income being the full focus of my core business and this podcast, let's talk about different streams of income for beekeeping and see what is in this article. And so let's see, flip this page over and we've got, all right, the first one, which is pretty obvious. If you don't do bees, don't know anything about bees, my daughter's staring at me like she's wanting me to do something. I'm not sure what it is. It's the benefit of having a home office with kids that are homeschooled. So I don't know why she's staring at me I think she might be fixing to throw something at me. Just bring that on over and put it right here. All right. So, and some of y'all, this may seem weird. Some of y'all have told me before, don't ever quit doing the unedited videos and stuff, Dave, because we like seeing what happens. And my kids sometimes actually pop into the podcast every now and then if you're watching the video version. So if you're only ever listening to this on audio, be sure to hop over to the version on YouTube sometimes. Maybe let it just play on your desktop while you're in your office and you see the kids pop in. Or you'll see me, I've done it before, you'll see me turn the screen around sometimes and show you the out back because there's a neighborhood donkey that will come cruising through the backyard sometimes. He's pretty cool and super nice. All right, so like I was getting back to before I chased that squirrel, is the most obvious thing you might think as far as making money from bees would be selling honey and beeswax. And so, that's pretty obvious. Like I said, selling the honey and the beeswax, yeah, very obvious. But you got to go levels deeper. You could just sell honey. You maybe could sell that to a big distributor or to a store or something. But some of the most fun and interesting ways I've seen this done is doing something different with the honey or beeswax, like creating a story and a deeper level behind your farm. Because I could go buy honey at Walmart or Sam's or Costco, and it's gonna be okay. It's not gonna be the best honey in the world, and not the most nutritious honey, and it's definitely not gonna provide me the benefits of what local honey will do, especially for allergies and things like that. But here's what gets me about some of that, the mass-produced store-bought honey, is that if you read the packaging on almost every one of those, it's going to mention that it's honey produced from, and I've seen some of them list up to half a dozen countries on there. In other words, this honey is produced, collected, and sent somewhere, and it's sent to, I don't even know the full mechanics of this. In my mind, I'm picturing warehouses and factories where these big vats of honey are mixed and all these different countries that's sending honey there and everything, and it outpours this thing that's dropped into a jar and sent to Walmart. And you don't really know all the time what you're getting. And so selling honey and beeswax, you could make more money. I consider it value added because there's a story. Like, I want to buy honey that is made by Joe down the street or whatever his farm's called. Obviously not Joe down the street because I don't have a Joe on my street. But just buying honey that's locally produced. And my absolute favorite is hot honey. I like to buy honey that's been infused with hot peppers. Right now, I've got one upstairs at my coffee stand. Well, matter of fact, I've got what's left of my coffee right here. It's got some hot honey mixed into it. That's my favorite. I like the bite that it gives to my coffee. And I think the one I'm using right now has Scotch bonnet peppers, which most of the time you'll see those in Jamaican jerk sauce for chicken. And so I like it. You may not like hot honey, but if you like, let's say, honey and butter on a hot biscuit, one of my favorite desserts. I love that. Try it with spiced hot honey. It is absolutely amazing. So that's something you could do to honey before you sell it to actually add value to that. So selling honey and beeswax is the first thing they listed here. The second one, and I've seen this in quite a few local stores, selling live bees. And so let's see, live honeybees are commonly sold in three ways: as a package, as a 5-frame nucleus, or as a full hive. Listen to this. In 2025, the price of a nuc, or a nuke, I'm not sure, that's the 5-frame nucleus. The price of a nuke ranges from 190 to 220 bucks. And so that's pretty cool. We hear a single queen honeybee can sell for $35. And that would change where you're at. Also, if you value add things and make it even better that they're buying from you and not somebody else, that just means the price goes higher. Like you establish the, I don't know, what's the term for when you sell art and just knowing where it came? Oh, it just slipped my mind right now. It's not progeny, but, the term, the provenance. The provenance. If you're buying artwork or something like that, or even an old comic book, because that's one of the things I collect, the provenance of something, like knowing who's owned this thing from day one. You find that even more so now within NFTs and things in cryptocurrency, because the blockchain keeps that provenance alive for when you buy things on the blockchain with cryptocurrency and NFTs. And so it'd be cool to know that I'm not only buying a honeybee queen, but I'm buying a third generation honeybee queen from X farm where it was raised. And I don't know enough about bees to put the specific wording in there, but I'm telling you, you can value add things like that and charge more money for it. Also, let's see, pollination services. That's the next thing they list. Each pollination contract lasts about 6 weeks, with farmers paying between $80 and $200 per hive, depending on the crop. And so I don't know that much about that. Let's see here. Currently, the cost of transporting beehives is about $5 per loaded mile. And so there's money built into that at every juncture. Now, you'd have to get into bees to know what you're doing with all this. That's not me. But I just find it pretty cool. Really neat. Let's see. One of the things they note here: if the farm is within 10 hours from us, the folks that wrote the article, the truck driver will drive through the night, allowing the beekeeper to unload hives upon arrival. That's pretty cool. All right, next, and this is an interesting one because I've watched a lot of TikTok videos doing this, so I find it very interesting. It's almost like ASMR, just hearing the bees and watching this happen. But structural removals. Structural honeybee removals are another great way to earn extra money for those who don't have the space or time to maintain beehives. Now, the TikTok videos I've seen most about this are removals of not just honeybees, but also problem bees like yellow jacket nests, hornets, things like that. But I've seen some pretty cool videos where honeybees have been removed from the walls of houses, from attic eaves. They even mentioned in this article a job they did where they actually performed a structural honeybee removal from a dresser that was left on somebody's back porch. In other words, you get out in the country, you find all kinds of interesting things on back porches. I mean, here on the farm, we have some very interesting things, not only on the back porch, but in the random barns that are on the property. So we've got some neat things. And those barns, my back porch, we're out there enough that we would notice if the bees were settling into, like, say, my cold plunge or my sauna if they're left empty for too long. But those barns, there are sections in those barns where we store things that we don't get into very often. Let's say we were storing a dresser out there. It would be really easy for some bees to get in there and nest. And eventually we go out there and like, wow, there's honey dripping out of this dresser. What do we do now? I mean, I don't want to go out there and without a bee suit and all that and try to get rid of them. And so structural removal by a beekeeping expert, I'm sure there's a technical term for that as well, but would be pretty cool. And you doing that kind of thing, and I'm not even sure about this, but I don't know if you can like rehome those bees maybe to your own hives. I don't know how that works. They might fight and destroy each other. Like I say, you might could use those bees and rehome them and start a new hive somewhere else, like on my farm. And so I don't know. But let's see. It says here, though, that we charge, most of our removals take 4 to 6 hours. We charge $500 for the first 4 hours and an additional $50 per hour after that. And we're often told, you heard those prices here, we're often told we're the most affordable beekeepers available. And not only that, but you can charge per mile for travel and do a pretty wide area. That's pretty neat. And like I said, though, I watch videos with the kids on TikTok, people doing structural removals of yellow jackets and problem bees like hornets, things like that, and doing it with a vacuum and all kinds of neat stuff. It's a lot of work, but it's helpful, especially if you don't, if you're running an organic farm or you want to, and you don't want to use chemicals, things like that, pesticides. You don't want to just kill everything outright. You'd rather rehome it. Then it's going to cost you. Or if you're in the business, it's going to pay you. All right, next thing, classes and education. Obviously, an income stream for anything you do. If you're the expert, which means really, let's be honest, because I teach this to people, how to expert yourself. If you're the expert, which means really you only have to know a couple things more than the other person or have some experience that somebody doesn't, you can teach it. And so classes and education, it says here, our courses range in price from $95 to $200. And so you could do in-person courses, which obviously are going to cost more, but more people there, so you make pretty good money because you're teaching more than one person. And you can do in-person courses. You can do courses on your farm near the the beehives. You could do online where it's a lot of video driven, things like that. You could do certification. You could create your own certifications that people need to get. There's so many ways. I mean, I love course creation as a stream of income. If there is anything that you know something more about than one other person, it is an amazing stream of income. And not to mention the fact, I like training in person, but I don't make as much money doing that. What I can also do in addition to training in person, and you, is to create an online course. Once you've created it, aside from marketing and simple maintenance, it is mostly passive. In other words, create a course that people can sign up for at any time, or you do periodic launches and redo the course if it's seasonal. And it's mostly passive because all the hard work, the class creation, the videos, the things like that, the workbooks, it's already done. It's already done. And there are a million ways you can upsell from the course. Something as simple as a book, a textbook for the course, or certification materials. Let's say you actually create a course and you make it a certification, which isn't that hard. People complicate that so much. It's not like it's a thing where you have to jump through a lot of hoops. You can just call it a certification course and create logos. You can create patches and signs. I mean, here on my farm, I've got some certified wildlife habitat signs. Now, here's the thing. We certified our farm as a certified wildlife habitat. And most of that was free, downloading materials and all that. But guess what we had to pay for? The signs. That's right. And so these are things you can create to upcharge. Because if somebody is going to go through the trouble of paying for your course and getting certified to do a thing, obviously it's in their best interest to advertise that. And if they're doing agritourism, like I encourage, people come onto the farm to see things or maybe learn from them, that kind of thing. Having a sign, having that logo on the, wearing those shirts with the logos on it, things like that. It's a great upcharge for you, and it's great for them because it earns them more money. All right. And the last one, let's see. Let me actually look a little bit more on the class part of this article. Let's see. So they talk about advanced courses on raising queens. Let's see. They talk about, Oh, this is nice because I mentioned the value added stuff. They actually do a byproducts course, which teaches participants how to make products using beeswax. And so they actually teach them how to value add things and how to do even more with what they're already selling. They do private lessons. They offer field trips for school groups. Oh, and retirement communities. That's pretty neat. Let's see. And what else do we have? The last one, investing in your operation. And so they say here, while beekeeping can be profitable, it does come with significant upfront costs. And so, they're just saying there how you can invest in your operation, make it more profitable, do more with it. And so at the end of the article, they've actually got a sidebar and ways to earn an income from beekeeping. So let me go over this one last time, just as a summary for you. And I want to tell you again, be sure to, beekeeping might not be your thing. I hope you've listened all the way through this because you can apply any of this to different businesses. So be sure to tune in for other courses on how to make courses, other podcasts, other lessons on how to make money from your land, how to make money from your small farm. Some of this is actually going to cover how to get a farm number with the USDA. In other words, to make your farm official, even if you're in an apartment. You don't even have to have a lawn to have a farm. And that may sound completely crazy, and you might be saying that there's no way that could happen, Dave. You can. It can. I know people who have microgreen businesses that are run out of apartments. I had a friend at the beach where I used to live, and he actually had a microgreen store. And his entire farm was housed out of the back room of the store where he sold microgreens and mushrooms and things like that. Now, I'm not talking about the crazy mushrooms that'll make you see crazy things, but just like lion's mane and things like that. His entire farm was housed out of a store in a strip mall, right beside a karate studio. It was pretty cool. And so I'm going to read you the sidebar here, but yeah, tune in for more of these, and be sure to let me know in the comments if you like these, because I don't want to do a series too long that nobody's really interested in listening to. So be sure to let me know that you like this, you want to know more, and if you have an idea that you want me to cover with any topic, but specifically this one, be sure to message me and let me know, and I'll look into it. Maybe it's something I want to experiment with. Maybe it's something I am experimenting with, I just haven't talked about yet. So ways to earn an income from beekeeping. Sell honey, beeswax products, propolis, pollen, and royal jelly, selling live bees, honeybee equipment. There's actually a guy down the road from me that me and my wife were talking to one day. He keeps his own hives, and he has a little store where he sells honey. But we started talking to him because my wife has always been interested in beekeeping, and he took us into the back room. And guess what he had in the back room of his little store? The makings of all these hives that he sells. It was pretty cool. All these wood products, and it just looked really neat. And so that's something you could do. Pollination services, swarm and structural removals, teaching classes, and my favorite, agritourism. All right, so this is Dave signing out from the Streams of Income podcast. Be sure to tune in next time. And also be sure to let me know if you have any ideas of things that you would like to hear more about, you'd like me to cover, and we will see you on the next podcast. Y'all take care. Hey, everybody, before we close out, first of all, I hope you enjoyed that podcast, whether it was an interview with an amazing entrepreneur or a business lesson for me. I sincerely hope that you gain something from it that you can use in your life moving forward. Before I leave, though, I need to mention that this podcast is sponsored by Lowe's Home Improvement Stores. I have become a Lowe's creator. It's a pretty cool thing because on this farm, I'm looking out the window right now and seeing all the things that I want to do around here. Most of these things I can do with products from Lowe's Home Improvement. And so I'm excited to be a Lowe's creator. If you want to check out some things from them and order some stuff and see my specially curated Lowe's storefront, you can click in the show notes. There's a link there for you. And I hope you build some amazing things. And hey, you know what? If you do, send me pictures. I would absolutely love to see the amazing things that you're building at your house using Lowe's products or anything else, really. I'm just curious. I want to know everything about you and everything about the cool projects you're doing because I'll be honest with you, I get some neat ideas for things I want to do at my house as well. All right, y'all take care. Thanks for listening.